rock bottom actually is that everything's working. As entrepreneurs, because we are creative souls, it'll actually kill us. We need that next thing, that next challenge to overcome. That's when we typically find this place that athletes call being in the zone, how to feel good under any circumstance.
Hey there everyone, my name is Ben Moot. I want to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. This is the man who made the difference in my business. It's not a new tactic, it wasn't a new strategy, it wasn't all those different things as much as I love learning. The real key to making my business grow has been Michael Johnson. And so I brought him on the podcast. And you can listen to the entire podcast. I've got the full interview uncut up there so you guys can actually go and listen to it if you want to. But I wanted to give you guys some of the really powerful snippets in an order that I thought was going to help you as best as possible. So we've done a lot of editing here, and I want to give as much of the time as I can to Michael. So if you like this at all, if this resonates at all, like the video, comment down below. Let me know what I can do to help you out in order to give you better content in the future. If you like this, if you want something similar, just let me know. Let's get to the man who changed my business, not just last year, but for 2021. If you pay attention, this can change everything. Let's go.
What's your story? Where did it all get started? Like, why do you like playing in this mind space, especially with entrepreneurs?
Well, I think it started back when I was actually falling flat as a professional ballroom dancer. I was actually on the professional ballroom dance circuit for about 10 years. I actually started when I was 5, danced all the way through the ranks, made it into the pro ranks, and danced pro for 10 years, traveled around the world, did all that stuff. But about 2 or 3 years into it, I was supposed to be this superstar coming into the pro ranks, and literally had fallen flat. Like nothing was happening. We weren't making any cuts. We weren't getting marked. We weren't placing well. And I had to find a way to get myself out of it. My mind wasn't right, because on one end, I knew I was talented. I knew I had the skills. I knew I could do the thing. And on the other end, nothing was reciprocating. Nothing on the other side was coming back to me. And I was just bound and determined. I had hit the bottom, the end of my rope of not having any success. And so I started seeking it out, and I started finding anything I could to understand how I worked, because I just wanted to be better. And in the process, I got into NLP, life coaching, anything that was about my mind and how it was going to help me get better. And that's really what spurred it on. And, the funny thing along the way is that all of my trainers kept saying, you should get certified in this, because, you're doing pretty good at this. And I was like, yeah. I just want to know how I can win a championship. And they're like, yeah, but you should get certified. Fine. If that's all I have to do, then I'll do it, And so I jumped in and did the certifications, but really no intent at the time to use it. I was just trying to fix me. I was it's totally selfish. I was the problem. So that was kind of what spurred me on. And as more things worked for me, as we started doing better, as we started placing better, I started coaching other people on it and taking dancers through it. And then I started getting asked by other businesses because I worked with a lot of affluent people. And so some other businesses started saying, hey, can you help our team? Can you help our sales team? Can you work with our company and help us get everybody's mind straight? And so little by little, I started pulling in that other stuff along with the dancing, and it sort of developed from there. But really, it was just about the dancing. It was about me getting better as a professional. And I did the pro thing. I became a judge. I became an examiner on the circuit, and then got to this point where it finally hit the wall and just said, you know what? That's it. That's all I can do. Is this all I can do? I was judging a competition, which is very lonely, because you judge and then you go up to your room and you hang out by yourself, eat room service. And so I was reflecting, because it was the first comp that I had ever danced at when I was a young man. And I'm sitting there thinking, this can't be the end of my road, right? This is this really all I'm meant to do for the next, rest of my life? I mean, I must have been 30 something, and I just realized that I had to figure out some other way to help help other people, and that was not the extent of what my skills were capable of doing. And so jumped in full swing to personal development and helping entrepreneurs, the people that are going to help the people. And that's where I realized that those are the people that I really, really love to work with. And that's kind of how I got there. It was a funny path, but we made it there.
If it works, it works. I mean, everyone's path is a little bit different, but at some point we all hit that low. When you described it to me when we started talking, because I didn't understand the difference in NLP. I know Tony Robbins. I know he talks about like living in it, psyching yourself up, putting yourself into that state, right? State control.
Absolutely.
And NLP is a little bit different than, it's not just state control. It's not just bounce around the room. It's not just, NLP goes so much broader. And it was interesting to me because I follow Russell Brunson's Perfect Webinar all the time. Like I model it in everything I do. Like it's the system to use if you want to make a sale and you're still learning how to do sales. Like this is the formula. It's proven. It's just follow it. You took that formula and you just flipped it, and I got to see the reverse side.
Yeah.
What actually works inside of it?
Yes.
How does each piece actually work to change me?
Yes.
And then if I can understand how to change me, I can better understand how to take care of my customer. Indeed. That was my aha. That was my, oh my gosh, now that I understand my own like journey and my own issues, I understand my customer better.
Yeah.
Because of this process.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me.
And it's a cool framework, right? It's this little guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing in mind. Good. And so those people that have done the Perfect Webinar will see, hey, there's something familiar about it, but it's just different. That's because it's about you, and it's not about the marketing. It's about marketing you, right? Because if you can sell yourself, the rest is so much easier.
Now, I've seen a new version of this framework. You're doing something different with this framework here upcoming soon, aren't you? It's like it's the same principles, but you've organized it differently.
Yeah. Well, I love building frameworks. It's one of the things that is probably a little superpower that I've gained through the years, and so I've created a new framework for a challenge that we're doing. It's
nice.
And it's called the Feel Good Challenge, and so we are using a framework to help make it clear and easy to understand how to build a skill set of feeling good. And I say that very
so it's the Feel Good Challenge, right?
The Feel Good Challenge.
Okay.
And it's simplistic on purpose. We all know that we want to feel good. That's it. We know we want to feel good.
When you're coaching all these people, what do you see as their rock bottom when they realize this has got to change? It's time to serve. It's time to grow an impact, to make everything work finally.
It's funny is what I see is maybe different than you might expect. A lot of times what I see with the clients that I work with is that their rock bottom actually is that everything's working. There are things that are working. It's not just that everything's falling apart. Maybe one thing is falling apart, but everything else is working. They maybe have learned how to make money. Maybe their funnel's working. Maybe their marketing is working. Maybe their business is generating income, but they're looking at their world like I was in that hotel room eating room service and thinking, gosh, is that it? Like, is this it? Is this all I have to do? Is this all I have left? And as good as it should have felt having arrived and been on the top of that hill, it really wasn't as good as I thought. There was a whole lot missing from the inside and from that ability to feel good. It was because I had attained the thing, and I was dying and searching for that next piece of my personal legend to come out and go, hey, this is where you should go next. This is what you should do. And so a lot of the times when I deal with entrepreneurs that are in this place, they have a hard time saying it's rock bottom because things are generally good. Generally, and that generally good, that mediocrity will actually, as entrepreneurs, because we are creative souls, it'll actually kill us because we need that next thing, that next challenge to overcome, that next tech issue that fell apart right in the middle of a launch. We need that next thing to push us. We need the contrast so that we can step up and serve in the way that we were maybe destined to serve, right? Our personal legend to help people in the way we can. And it calls us in such a weird way because we attain these things and then we go, but I'm bored now. Now what do I do?
The question is then, if we're always striving for something bigger and better, if we're always chasing that one next thing, where is pure happiness in all of that? Because that's the really thing that we want. We don't want to be content anymore. We're incontent. That's why we're entrepreneurs.
Right.
How do you find that sense of peace in what you're doing? Where does that even lie? Does it even have a place?
Absolutely. And I spent a huge portion of time writing a book, that one right there, called Every Minute. And it literally is about the idea of that journey. We got to move. We got to move our body. We got to move in a direction. And sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Then we start to find out that just movement alone isn't great, but we've got to get aligned with who we are. And that actually can be a big hang up for a lot of people, right? We're moving, we're doing something, we're getting going, but I'm going this way and my soul is going this way. And trying to get into that alignment makes a big difference. And as we do that, that journey comes out because now it's no longer about the destination. The destination serves as a goal and as a navigation system so that you can know you're still heading towards your personal legend. But this idea of enjoying the journey is, if we dig down to the micro, all about finding a place where you can live in the zone. Athletes talk about it all the time. They love to be in the zone. And that is when they've aligned themselves with themselves. So to make it easy and a little less roofy, because we could go there if we wanted to, but we all know we have a subconscious and we all know we have a conscience. And our mind takes care of all the chatter that's going on, all the language, all the external ideas of taking in what we're observing and processing it. But our subconscious, it does billions of things. It runs our heart, it runs our system, it runs our body, it runs our mind, it runs everything without us having to think about it, thank goodness. And we get to this idea where our body, who has learned us, our soul, our subconscious essentially, has learned us and knows where we want to go, knows the destination, knows the things we want to accomplish. And our mind is going, but what about this? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about that? What about this? And constantly challenging each other. But if we can get our conscious mind in line with our subconscious, then that's when we typically find this place that athletes call being in the zone. Dancers like to talk about being in flow, being in this moment where everything's working. And if you have created anything as an entrepreneur that just was outside of yourself, beyond you, you probably got into that zone or that flow, that creative ability where all of a sudden it just came out. And that is the place that we all want to live. Although if we always lived there, then there wouldn't be the paradox that is necessary for us to experience how wonderful it is. And so we have this up and this down. We have this push and this pull, and it happens in dance. It happens in life. It happens in the things that we are most passionate about, where we think we want to be in just that space that is bliss. But the problem is, like you said, when you get to the peak of that mountain, that bliss doesn't last, because now we have to have something to contrast it so that we know how good it was, or it is, or it's going to be. And so how do we live every minute? Well, you live every minute by starting the process of understanding how to feel good under any circumstance, which, when you look at the people that we admire and have overcome amazing challenges and have become people that we look up to as a society, they've all overcome these things where they have figured out how to feel good in circumstances where they shouldn't have been feeling good.
It's okay. So really quick, you have like literally just summarized the movie Soul. If you guys watched that recently, it came out on Disney Plus. We watched it and we were like, well, that's a horrible ending for a movie. For a movie, probably, but for life, this is what it's all about.
Right.
As a musician, you get that high, you get in the zone. As a dancer, you get in the high in the zone. Entrepreneur, you get high and in the zone. I got high and in the zone after like selling. Like in the sale process, it was a blast. And then when everything worked on the back end, it was like a second wind.
Yes.
It's almost like everything catching my wings. And it was like everything took care of me for a while. I was like,
we want to feel good. That's it. We know we want to feel good. And we don't have to make it more complicated than that. And I think a lot of times people do. They make it really complicated and they give all these labels to emotions and they give these words like happy and sad and angry and frustrated, depressed. And really, they just want to feel good. They don't really care what it's called. And yet we label it so that we can then label them and put them in a box and go, well, you have this thing and you have depression or you have sadness or you have this. And I'm like, no, it is not a ball. I have a ball, I have a pen, but I don't have sadness. That's interesting. Sadness is not a noun. It is an adjective or a verb. And what I try to get people to understand is that even though, and I'm not talking language because yes, I've studied linguistics, but I'm not talking that, yes, I know that to be sad is more of a description. And so people use it as an adjective and therefore it becomes a label. But what I like to talk about is how we can make sad or happy or any emotion that you want to talk about a verb. And as soon as it's a verb, as soon as it's we are doing this, oh boy, life changes.
Well, it puts you back in the control room. Like you get to be in control of your life. You're not diagnosed. You are given a verb that you are living in often.
Yes. One that you're doing. And you can turn it on and you can turn it off. And that really starts to mess with your head a little bit. So sorry about that. But it's okay. It's okay because it's a skill set. These are skills that we can learn to do.
What are you doing? Like you're coming out with this new framework. How are you doing that?
We're going to do it in this challenge format. We're doing a 21-day challenge. And we'll be taking people through this framework. We wanted 21 days because unfortunately, when we're talking about creating new habits, creating a new habit in 3 days or 5 days doesn't work as well. So we wanted to do something that would really make an impact on anybody that went through this challenge with us. We're going to meet for 21 days and we're going to go through this new framework called the Feel Good Framework. And it's pretty simple. We're going to try to balance your world out so that you can get back to alignment, so you can spend more time in flow, so you can spend less time being in the awkward place and being in that contrast. Now, contrast is necessary. So we're not going to try to delete it. We're just going to try to balance out the scales. And when you see this cool framework, it's a lot like a scale. And we start by working on what your internal feel-good processes are, and we figure out what your external feel-good processes are. And we go through and we map it out. We get some good habits. We build them over the 21 days and we make it so that you can feel good on purpose, on demand, and from the inside out.
Michael, where can people find you like for more of all of this?
Well, you can find me at magicforlife.com. If you want to find out more about your emotions specifically, you can check out the everyminutebook.com and you can get a free copy there. And of course, if you'd like to take the Feel Good Challenge, then it is just that. Take thefeelgoodchallenge.com, literally TAKE, thefeelgoodchallenge.com. Take thefeelgoodchallenge.com. And if it's open, then you can register and sign up. If it's not, then you can get on the waiting list to come and join us. But it is going to be 21 days that will change your life forever. That upgrade that your internal self needs, just like your phone or your refrigerator needs an upgrade. So do you.